Hey, hey, we're
Hey, hey,
back.
hey.
Welcome back to Girl Chat Sports and Windmill. We have not been on for over a week now, so welcome
Right.
back. I had a little bit of a little siesta, a little vacation, little venture down south, so that was good and refreshing. And there's been a lot of stuff happening in sports as well
Yeah.
as just hot topics overall. So we're
Yeah.
definitely going to get to them. Our bingo card is getting full. March said, "Hold up, hold my beer, because I have more things for you to mark off."
Yeah. I didn't have anything on any of these things on my bingo card, just so we're clear. I'm trying to predict April's bingo for the
I don't
month
even
that we're
think
in
we
right now.
can. I mean, like the infamous Cat
I'm going to
Williams
write some
said,
predictions
everything's
down. I think I'm
coming
actually
out
going
in
to make a sheet.
2024. Oh, yeah, you should make a sheet. We're going to post that so that we can just feel what you're feeling for this, for coming for April.
Yeah. Let me just see. I don't want to be that person,
I
but
hear you.
I need to make
Hey,
a sheet.
welcome to the show. If you are watching, feel free to share. It's free. Give it to
Yeah.
your friends to watch and enjoy. We got a special guest coming up. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube at Girl Chat Sports. Follow us on all social media at Girl Chat Sports as well. Coming up, we do have a guest. We're rounding out Women's History Month, which Women's History Month is basically Women's History Day, which is every day for us because we
Right.
love women and we love supporting
Right.
women. So without further ado, we want to introduce Miss Kathy Murray.
There she
Hi.
is.
Hey,
Thank you for
welcome,
having me.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Welcome,
Excited to
Kathy.
be here.
Well, we have so much to discuss with you, but
Yes.
first off, I know mainly what you've got going on at the moment is you're the author of the Munich Cowboys Cheerleaders,
Yes,
which is based on your true story.
exactly. It's I was in corporate America, working for a Fortune 500 company. You know, you're out of college, you're excited for that first corporate job, and I hated it. I hung in there for 5 years, and but I had always been in fitness,
Okay.
cheerleading, you know, group fitness, aerobics. Always was doing that on the side. And I got the opportunity to be a freelance fitness educator in Munich, Germany.
Okay.
And I just packed up everything. My parents thought I was crazy. I didn't know German, nothing about Germany. And I just knew, hey, let me figure it out. They're paying me, and I was doing certification programs for fitness, for the fitness Italians, mostly
Wow.
Germans, because you know they didn't know anything about group fitness, so they were bringing Americans over at the time to educate them.
Mm.
In one of my classes, they found out that I was a cheerleader at the Ohio State University. I had won the
The
championship.
State.
The
The
Ohio State.
and she asked me, no German at this point. My German was not fluent yet, and they said, "Hey, come and check out the girls." They were cheering for American football team. They're called Munich Cowboys,
Okay.
and it's the book is based upon me not only trying to get in a new culture, language, you know, all the adversity, the racism that I was going through, but then I'm a coach and a champion. So I taught these girls. I mean, they were doing the best they could at the time, and it's just been me taking them to end up taking them to six national and two European championships.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
the story of my life there.
So talk about, though, I know you mentioned obviously the adversity. I mean, you didn't know the language, moving to Europe and then the late
Late
90s.
'90s, yeah.
How does that work for you? And of course, cultural wise, race wise.
It was tough. You know, the language barrier. This was before Google Translate, so
Right.
you couldn't just
Right.
hit your device and speak.
You
You
had a
had
book that you're looking
little
at.
pocket dictionary, and I'm like, wait, you know, taking it out. But if you want to know a language, move to that country because you have no choice but to speak. You know, every day. I did take classes and things like that, but every day shopping and trying to ask for things. Um, uh, for example, I had my roommate was German, half German in college, and she was a journalist there. And we were trying to find an apartment. Well, then you know you had the papers. Hey, this apartment is free. She calls. We're coming right over. I come over. They take one look at me and say, "Oh no, it's no longer available."
Wow.
So
Lord.
like two, three times, and she's looking at me like, "Wait a minute, they just said it was available," and I'm like, I'm showing up, and they're saying no, it's no longer available for her. So those types of things, on my bike, getting pulled over by the police, constantly being, showing you have to show your passport to know that you're legal there. Yeah, it was a lot. I think once I started doing the book, that's when I thought, wow, you really went through it.
And you didn't give up. Like,
I
what
didn't.
made you stay? What, like, some people like us, we'd be like,
Eh,
girl,
I'm
if
done.
we're not gonna do it, we're gonna leave. You know what I mean? Forget this. This ain't it. But what gave you the insight or the divine wisdom to stay? What spoke to you to make you say, you know what, this is something I can go through, and it's gonna be a purpose at the end? Like, what made you just not quit?
I think being an athlete helps because
Okay.
you have your good days and your bad days, and you get knocked down, and then the next day is a new day. And I knew that I did not want to return to corporate. That just was not an option. So I had to figure it out, and it was my choice to go there. So it was like, you have to make this work. You have to learn the language, and you have to um, take the getting pushed out of line. They don't do cues like we do. We get in the line, it's just a free for all on the public transportation. So that, and then just praying to the creator, saying, look, I'm here for a purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is yet. I'm going through a lot of it's very isolating when you don't know the language and everybody is speaking, you don't know
Absolutely.
anything. So you just have to just say, okay, I'm going to suck this up. And I had a lot of good German friends that would say, here, let me help you with the pronunciation. How do I ask for when I order? How do I, the cultural things, like everything is green, like glass, brown glass, white glass, everything had, they were very green there. So even back then you had to recycle everything. And but just
Wow.
learning, yes. I started my personal training business there, so I had to speak German. Obviously, with the cheerleaders, that my German became very fluent because I had to coach.
Right.
So, and they speak English. Luckily, they have to take English in school, so they could
Okay.
understand some English. But that really caused me to just say, okay, I got to coach and I got to teach in German.
Right.
So where did it come from? Like, are you sitting down and think, this is a story, it needs to be written? Did someone approach you? Like they knew about the story, they knew about what was happening over there for the Munich Cowboys cheerleading squad, or how did this come about?
I have a client. Her name is Martha Hall Kelly, and she is a historical fiction author. She's a New York Times bestseller. And you get this relationship with your clients. And I was always telling her she was writing her first novel, Lilac Girls, and she said, Amazon, the Audible approached me about doing an Audible original. And I was like, oh, great. I'm obviously cheering her on as a new author. And she said, you've been telling me all these stories about Germany. I just think that's so fascinating that you went over there, didn't know anyone, it got into the culture and learned how to teach German, taught these girls, nothing about cheerleading, but just taught them how to stunt, how to tumble. Then when they said there's a championship, I was like, okay,
Fighting gloves are on.
let's just do it, And I saw, nobody. I was an American, only American instructor there, so that was good and bad because we got
Right.
discriminated a lot, with me being not only American but black,
But being
and then
black.
they were
Yeah.
coming up. We were coming up. I'm like, okay, they're going to say, what's Munich doing? And sometimes it was great, and sometimes it wasn't. We did a
Right.
perfect routine and we got 10th place. So just those types of things, that adversity for the girls too, because they didn't understand. You hit the routine, you have your difficulty levels. These are the things they're judging on. It's a slam dunk, and then sometimes that didn't happen. So Martha Hall Kelly, I owe it to her. She thought my story was great to make a book, into an Audible book, and I will be releasing it in an ebook and a paperback. I'm
Oh,
Nice.
doing
wonderful.
spring.
So right
Yeah.
now it can be found on Audible,
Yes.
correct?
Right now it's an Audible. Mhm.
Wonderful. So we got to
Yeah.
make sure that
Yeah,
everybody goes and checks that out. I'll put
for
a little
sure.
ticker there so people can see that. We also need to talk about, well, first, I want to just show this picture I love. This is the
Ah!
Ohio State cheer team. This was the championship team. Is that correct?
Yes, that was actually in Hawaii. They did not have a show at the time. It was we performed the competition live at the Hula Bowl
Wow.
then, and this was our semis. They broke it down to just the top two teams, us and Kansas, University of Kansas. Yeah, and we performed live at the Hula Bowl, the Pro Bowl for that championship. So yes, that was quite exciting. You know, I'm an Ohio girl, and that was my
Yeah.
first time in Hawaii, and I was like, wow, you know,
I
this
love it.
is so great. Yeah.
Talk to us though about how you've seen cheer competitions and now cheer in the Olympics. Like how does that what is that like how do you feel inside with that? What are your thoughts on the I mean just seeing that cheer team there that you had was like maybe what 10, 12 people.
We had
But
14 at the
like
time.
like
Yeah.
the local school here, University UNLV, has won numerous championships in cheer
Yeah,
and
they have.
advanced competitions. They've got like 20, 40 people out there now on these full-on
Right.
platforms. My girlfriend in Hawaii, she comes to Vegas for these cheer competitions for her daughter. I mean, the business is booming. When I tell you the money that people spend now on these
Right.
cheer competitions, the uniforms,
Exactly.
the hoodies, the sweatshirts, the memorabilia, it's just like
It's a serious thing.
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's super
I'm so
serious.
excited because we finally get recognized as a sport. I mean, we work year round. I cheer for football and basketball. So you start in the spring, you try out, then you go to camp, then you start football, then you have postseason football, then it overlaps with the beginning of basketball. You know, then you have postseason basketball, then you have the national championship. So we're year round, and you got to keep your grades up. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
with all of that. So we are athletes, and so it's so rewarding to finally be recognized as an Olympic sport. And I really want to use my story as an American going over there and elevating the sport of competitive cheer now that it's Olympic sport. So I'm really been a lot of people are interested in you know, possibly producing it as for a story. So it's just so exciting that we're finally getting the credit that we deserve as a sport. And it is a multi-billion-dollar business. Cheerleading is big. When I
Yeah.
Insane.
started, it was like I was in like grade school. I started at 12. But now these kids are starting at 5, 6, competitive
What?
cheer gyms. It's huge.
What's
And see, the
crazy
only time I ever heard of cheerleading was when my friends were like elementary school and pop Warner football teams for their brothers. They would be the
No, it's
cheerleaders.
big
So they have the
business.
huge pom poms.
my girlfriend that was here for these competitions, let me tell you, she like there's one guy, maybe two people, but one guy in particular who makes all the soundtracks for the
Mm,
routines.
yep.
And literally they pay him like 8 grand a song. And it's
Exactly.
just
Wow.
it sounds like a bunch of mashup of house and some, yelling out the team's name and their colors and their whatever, and then that's it. And I'm just like, why
Yes,
they
it's
who
huge. They
or
just
the
went
bows, the business just for
yes,
the bows
and the
is
uniforms and I was so pleased that 3 of my cheerleaders are from the Munich Cowboy cheerleaders actually went into the business of cheer because they had to order their uniforms from the US. And as we know, European sizes and American
US
sizes are
sizes are hard to
different.
translate.
are
So
So
not
get
the
the
they
same.
same.
started their own company to get the
Wow.
yes, and then the other one of the girls now is actually coaching the all-star basketball team cheerleading. So
Nice.
yeah, so that was really when I reunited with them for the book. It was so just they're kids, they're 15, 16, and you don't think nothing's getting in, and they're like, well, we still remember when I had mantras for every championship. Team, there's no I in team. Pain is only temporary, and I would take that, and they were saying, oh, I use that in my business, and I tell my kids that. So it was just so fascinating and rewarding that they really were
Yeah.
listening and are still doing those things today.
That's a great
Amazing.
reward when you recognize that people actually listen to what
Oh,
you said, and now you know your purpose has actually been met. Like you were meant to be there
exactly.
in that place at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
So
very
you
cool.
also beyond so I'm guessing at some point you returned back from Germany. You're also a not only a triathletic, strength coach, but you at the young age that you are, no need to disclose, are winning triathlons.
No, I
Yes.
want her to disclose. This is this is girl power at its finest.
I don't mind. Yes, I moved back to the United States. I opened my own gym, Fit Bodies, in Atlanta. But the cheerleaders kept on bringing me back for 3 to 4 years. They would fly me back to Munich to do their routine. So that was always really cool. I started in the sport of triathlons. I was a runner and a biker. And I always had a fear of open water swimming.
Okay.
And I just thought, okay, this is gonna help you overcome that fear by taking up this sport. So I took lessons. I knew how to swim, but not like that.
No.
And I took lessons and had films in my form. And my friend talked me into doing it. Let's just do this together. And then she bailed on me like a month before the race. And I was like, well, I spent all this money and I did my first race, open water in a lake. I was the last one out the water. And I said, okay, it's on. And then I just, became
Wow.
better and better in the sport. And of course, as a trainer, I'm a triathlete. So I have lots of triathletes that come to me. Some are injured. You have to do strength training when you're in the sport.
Yeah.
And so it's really rewarding to watch them get faster and better or overcome, different injuries. I've had to do less running. I had to have my hip replaced 7 years ago. Yeah,
Wow.
all that jumping. They don't tell you it's going to
Listen,
wear
and
out.
still in
All
shape.
that
And still in shape
cartilage
7 years
cartilage is
later.
gone.
You stayed moving.
Right,
And
right.
you stayed
So
moving. You didn't let the hip surgery deter any outcomes. You stayed moving.
no, I,
Because
I,
people will have joint replacement surgeries and they feel or have a fear in them that they can't do the same things they used to do. Yes, physically they can move, but the exercising can't be as intense. Can't do this. Can't do. So the fact that you stayed in shape post that is just phenomenal within
you
itself.
have to interview. I interviewed 4 surgeons because some of the first surgeons were like, sit down, get the hip replacement and sit down. And I knew I wanted to race again.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the fourth one was like, yes, you can race again. You can run if you want, that type of thing. So I knew going into the surgery, there's 2 different approaches. One's on the front and one on the side. I knew the one in the front was going to get me up quicker. I swam and I biked. I couldn't walk or run because there was a cartilage on cartilage and was bone on bone.
Right. Right. That's
But
what I'm
I just said, okay, if you're going to do this, there was no handbook. That's a book also that I want to write, that you have to be in really good shape, at least, upper body, core. And I was able to come back fairly quick. 4 weeks after surgery, you can get back in the pool and get back on a
wow.
stationary bike. And I went through rehab and I just worked my way back and I just designed my own walk run program because you can't, right,
Oh.
about 4 months. And then
Yeah.
about 8 months after, I said, I'm going to do my first race, 8 months post-op. Now I was walking, quite a bit and doing short runs, but I did that 8 months post-op and then 9 months.
8 months post-op.
Yeah,
9 months post-op.
not
I
9 months
mean,
post-op. We had a trip that we had scheduled at the Grand Canyon. So
hmm,
I hiked some of the Grand Canyon in 9 months post-op. So you just have to joint replacements. It's outpatient.
yeah.
Joint replacements are outpatient. You don't even have to go under general anesthesia. I mean, they're in and out. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
So
I'm saying I ask these questions because of my knee joints. I used to cycle when I worked out. I was always taking the cycle class. I ran a half marathon in my 30s. That was one of my bucket list things to do. And I always thought about being a triathlete because I always like to swim.
Yeah.
But that ocean lake swim is totally different animal and beast.
Well, they
And
have
now
pool
that I'm
swims
on the
now.
other side of 40, going into that 50 chapter, my knees are starting to have pains, arthritis, all this stuff. And my question to you, really quickly, is how do I rehab myself back to getting in shape? Is water your best friend when it comes to those types of joint pains? What is the best physical routine that I could do, even beside walking, if I'm able to walk, that I
Mhm.
could do to try to get my strength back in my knees and
I'm
joints?
I'm so happy I took up swimming because, and I'm not afraid to say, I started triathlons in my 40s, and I've been racing 20 plus years, and now I'm in my 60s. And I'm so happy that I swim now because even through injuries and the hip replacement, I could always swim. And unfortunately, last year I tore my meniscus in
Oh
my
my God.
knee. But guess what I'm doing now? I'm pool running. So I'm still working
Ah.
out and I'm pool running, but I'm swimming, and the buoyancy of the water. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
you could swim to your 100. And the strength group that the tri group that I do here, Atlanta Tri Sisters, there are women starting in their 60s and 70s racing. They have pool
Let's
swims.
Well, we
go,
got to get it
baby.
together. We got to get it together,
Yeah, there's no
Yes.
though.
excuses. I
So
really gotta
this
get
is
this up.
the time to start
Yeah.
now and make it a lifetime activity. Find out, what you want to do. But look, I'm telling y'all, perimenopause is coming.
Well, it's here, and I was gonna segue into the next thing of that
Listen.
because I'm in the
It's
Perry.
real, and
It is
strength
real.
training and being
I'm in
fit
the
is.
Perry, so I have to ask. It is full, disclosure for me because we're on the pod. I don't even care because I'm speaking to women in my age group that probably are going through this. Uh, how do you handle it with your mind and your mental strength? Because at the end of the day, it's emotional at times for me.
Mhm.
So I just don't know how the mental blockage is. Now, endorphins from working out makes you so happy. And I love your energy because I feel like you're so in shape and the endorphins are just kicking in. And I just need to know, with being in perimenopause, 1 minute I'm up, 1 minute I'm down. Like, how are we able to manage that through our
You
exercise and through all of that? How do we have that mental, get rid of that
Yeah,
mental
it is,
block?
because you have definitely that brain fog is real.
It
And I
is.
started
It
I
is.
started at y'all's age, and people kept on telling me it wasn't. It was in my head. I was too young to be having hot flashes and night sweats. Everyone just kind of poo-pooed it, and I couldn't speak to my mother, of course, because they threw her into like menopause at like late 20s, because if you had like a fibroid, they just took their whole uterus out. They
Sure.
Oh
just took
wow.
everything out. So I couldn't say, hey, when did you go through it? But I started going through early. But I read a lot of books, I researched. And then for me, everyone is different, but for me, the bioidentical hormones help balance me, because I mean, as a trainer, anyone, I don't care what your profession, you're not sleeping, you're
Right.
sweating,
Yep.
I just couldn't, I just couldn't go up. That was not going to happen. I said, and said, what's great now is that there are groups, there's books. Some people start off with natural hormones, and then, so you have to find out what works for you.
Mm,
So yeah,
mm.
it's great that we're talking about this now
Yeah.
versus
No,
I
it's
mean,
my
and
good.
now
mother's,
too.
my mother's age. It's like, you didn't talk about it. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you're
I,
yeah.
seeing the stories of like Halle Berry and other people that have talked about how they got
yeah.
started, and doctors
Or
not giving
and
them the
misdiagnosed on a lot of it.
yes.
Hallie's was a misdiagnosis. The
We
guy
Right.
need
thought she
these
had an STD and
conversations,
Yes, you're
and
miscarried.
right. And you just have to keep going to different physicians until you get the right person. Because you go to OBGYNs, some of them do hormone replacement, but some of them do not. And some of them say, no, that's bad, and you're going to get cancer, this, that. So you just
Mhm.
have to figure out what's going to work for you.
Yeah,
got it.
definitely.
All
Yeah.
right.
For
I
sure.
know you're on the East Coast. We don't want to keep you up too late. But if there were like a top three things, like to get someone, perhaps Mo and I, to get started back on our health care journey, like what are the basic, like top three things that for us or anyone else out there listening needs to do to really get back and get focused?
I think the easiest thing for people to start with, if you don't have any, I know you talked about knees and things, but walking
I've started to walk now. I've started to
that's
walk more
because,
now.
the
Weather's getting
pool
better.
is a good thing, but you still got to change and go to the pool.
Yeah.
And, so walking is just moving.
Yeah.
If you're a sitter or you're a desk sitter, get a stand-up desk. I have a stand-up desk, so I can stand and sit, so you're not sitting all the time.
Yeah.
And probably the number one thing, which everyone's going to hate me for, is you got to get the nutrition together.
Mm-hmm.
You
no
know,
more fried catfish and fried okra.
I mean, you got to balance it out. You can't have
all my chocolate.
You have to balance it out. I mean, I always tell my clients, you cannot exercise your way out of a bad diet.
Sure.
And Kathy, real quick, is intermittent fasting a good thing? I usually stop eating my meals at 6 and then start back again at 6 in the morning. Is that something that really helps women at our age and our condition and anything like that?
I think you have to, again, some people, the intermittent fasting for me, especially because I'm an athlete, I have to eat every 3 to 4 hours. So for me, it doesn't work. I do know people that it does work for. Definitely, like, try not to eat after 7. Don't snack and do that. And now look, we're watching March Madness, so everybody's eating.
Right.
But so moving, nutrition, water. But trying to clean the nutrition up, because you're, again, as you come to do different decades, it's harder to move the weight. So if you can just clean it up a little bit. Look, I don't eat perfect, but I have to balance it out.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So moving, trying to get the nutrition right. And if you need to I was up at 4 a.m. this morning. I have a swim coach. So I have to have somebody push me in the areas that I need. So you may want to interview some trainers.
Might need to start we need to start a new show, Mo. Mo and Mel get back in shape.
In Vegas, it gets literally, when summer hits, it literally gets hot at like 7 in the morning. Bam, you're 90 degrees.
And you need
I used to go walking at, dare I say, as early as I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, 5, try to beat the sun coming up. That was my goal. I'd walk a track near my house to beat the sun coming up, because by the time the sun came up, it was like 90 degrees. And there's no way you could just walk out like that.
And that's how it is in Atlanta. You got to get out early, but you're walking, and you got to make it a habit.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm the night owl here. So I mean, I'll be out at 10 o'clock taking a walk with the dog. Like, I'm fine. I have my little headlamp on, because you won't see me get up before I have to be up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not a morning person, but the way I've been feeling, like, that was my routine. I used to get up mad early to get the sunlight, to go up and
schedule it. Like, I have, hey, strength training. Oh, I'm going to swim today. I'm going to, schedule your workouts like any other appointment.
Mo, we're just going to put this picture up on our fridges. That's all.
Actually, I'm going to print that if Kathy doesn't mind. I'm going to put it in my mirror in my bathroom.
Okay.
There you go. This is it. This is it.
Put it in my hallway mirror in my bedroom, and then in the bathroom as well. And with your mantras.
Okay, great.
That part. All right. So everybody, if you're listening, feel free to check out Kathy's book, The Munich Cowboys Cheerleaders, on Audible. It will be soon out in paper, in book form, as well as the ebook. But Kathy, it's been great. Thank you for sharing the end of Women's History Month with you, and we wish you much more success.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
Okay. All right.
Thanks
for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love it.
Man, I want to be like Kathy now.
Oh man, could you imagine
in your 60s?
But that's why we gotta start now, Mo, because I mean, we gotta be fit. We gotta be fit. We gotta be 50 and fat. That's what it has. 50, fit, fat. That's gotta be.
I have a year to get it together. I'll be 49 in this late October or early October. I got a whole year to get it together. So
mine's just trying to stay. Like I do these little like peaks and valleys.
I used to be yo-yo, skinny, fat, just up and down. Now, because I sit down a lot, I have this sit-down desk job. Just big girl.
And that's me working from home. Like I don't be up as much, I'm not walking in and out the offices and I'm not going to change it.
We got to get it right and tight. We will.
We're getting it right.
We're making a pact on the show that we're going to have it right and tight.
We will. All right.
We'll get it together.
Moving on with the show, people. Bingo card. the March bingo card said, hold up, wait a minute. We are not done yet. First of all, we got Diddy. We're going to address Diddy a little bit later because he actually has a sports tie. So we're going to put this into a sports tie later in Jugadores.
Yeah, just put it to that.
But then a whole container ship hits a bridge in Baltimore, knocks
Loses power.
the
and
whole
hits.
thing down. Unfortunately, 6 construction workers who are all from South American countries seemed apparently have perished in this. Luckily, it was in the middle of the morning and it wasn't, or in the early dawn, and so there wasn't like a high lot of traffic. But this bridge has been there since 1977.
Yeah.
And it's officially gone. It's a high traffic that people use to get to and from work and everything else during the day. And it's ridiculous.
And it's so crazy when it hit that bridge too, how the cars were going opposite ways on the bridge. Like the last 2 cars drove by and then there was no other cars following or anything. It just hit with
It's
no
just,
cars
yeah,
following.
it's weird how maybe you're
It's
driving and you
weird
saw
how-
that thing coming. You're like, you know what? Let me just hold back over here. No, I don't
Maybe.
want to cross that bridge yet.
Yeah, that was, oh my God. Yeah. Devastating.
It's definitely devastating.
Yeah.
So there was also a little thing that happening this past weekend called March Madness, and if you haven't been sleeping under a bridge, you might have realized that there was a lot of stuff going on. We're going to get to the women's second because clearly the women have been more dominant. It's been more viewed, most viewed, and it's most amazing. You've got your guys bracket here. I know you can't see it in this picture. There was some upsets. I mean, Oakland went crazy and took down who they took
James
down.
Madison went crazy. Who the heck knew that was going to be a thing?
It's a lot.
I mean, brackets were wiped out within the first round. The first
brackets were white. There was no brackets still in it after the first round, which is like the first that I've ever heard.
No brackets left. Everybody,
which is crazy. It's insane.
I don't think that's ever happened.
I mean, we saw BYU go down. We saw St. Mary's go down. I mean, Oregon beating South Carolina was another one. I
had South Carolina going a little bit further on that.
Right. And then you can say the James Madison. So we've got Sweet 16 coming up this weekend. Their games, I believe, are later on Saturday and Sunday, or Friday, Saturday. I might have to check it and look on that.
Yeah, because I didn't bring my bracket with me to see what the heck.
But this is the funny one. This guy got a note from his neighbor. Dear neighbor, I hope this note finds you well. I've noticed that recently the noise from your TV, along with occasional screaming, along with clapping, has been quite audible on my apartment. While I understand the joy that's coming from with watching your favorite show or sports, I kindly ask that you be mindful of the noise level, especially at night. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. Warm regards, your neighbor. Hey, it was sweet. It was nice. But there's some people that are definitely loud, and I was loud in a few of these women's games too. It's definitely something that it's March Madness. And
it is March Madness. It made me very dizzy with the upsets. All the upsets were just coming bam, 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 left and right. And I just got so dizzy. I just couldn't. Got crazy.
So March Madness, the Sweet 16 actually kicks off Thursday, which is tomorrow. So we've got 4 games tomorrow, 4 games on Friday, and then the following week. Yeah. Whew, jeez Louise.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be crazy.
We got to talk about the women. Listen, to say that the women's basketball has been watched more than men's basketball would be an understatement this year. These teams that are moving on to the Sweet 16 are full of names and faces that you will be seeing one day in the WNBA or possibly the Big Three. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But between Iowa, we saw Caitlin Clark, the numbers for them, they had over, I think it was 4 million. They had 4.9 million viewers on ESPN for Iowa's win over West Virginia on Monday. on Monday. I was one of them. 4.9 million
I
viewers.
watched that game too. I watched it until they were blowing them out. I said, I'm watching this. We know where this is
Most
gonna go.
most viewed women's basketball tournament ever, excluding the Final Four in a championship.
Yeah,
Okay. And it's also the most watched men's or women's game to this year.
I believe it. All that
We
is
saw
true.
South Carolina's dominance going
There's
in.
no myth. I have Iowa and South Carolina going duking it out for the final, and I have taken South Carolina, who is less favored now to win. Iowa is the favorite. And
Well,
South
this is the
Carolina's
thing
not.
is that we've been talking. What I've seen all over the news too is that home court advantage is something because Iowa was struggling.
Right.
Iowa was struggling with West Virginia. That game was, I mean, that was what 64. It was closer throughout the game, but that game was close. The LSU game was super close. They were even behind by a bunch
Yeah.
up until the last few minutes where they got that. I think that was a 10-point lead they ended up winning by, but that was their home court. So it's going to be interesting once it moves away from the home locations and gets into, I believe it's, what
They're
is
not
it?
playing in
Is it
Arizona like the other one.
no,
Where are
it's
they playing?
Indiana. Where are they
Tennessee,
playing?
I thought, right?
No, it's like Indianapolis or
Oh, okay.
I can't even read it on here. Look at
Either way, that is the matchup. I have no question in my mind. I don't think either team is going to get upset during this journey, and I think they're going to make it all the way to the finals. It's just a matter of which team is going
But
to.
you also are going to have Iowa against a great Colorado team. The
Yeah.
Colorado State team, or I'm sorry, the Colorado team is, listen, they got a baller on there. And you also have USC and Baylor, but this UConn and Duke game too. The Stanford ladies were struggling. I thought they were struggling against Iowa State. That was a really close game as well. Went to overtime. They're going up against NC State. So I feel like that could be a close game as well. You got Texas and Gonzaga, Oregon State and Notre Dame. There's just ballers everywhere.
Still got Iowa going all the way to the
I
end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride it out.
Honestly think LSU may lose to UCLA this
Well,
coming.
I have UCLA. I had UCLA and I had UCLA going to Sweet 16. I was actually looking at my women's bracket, and I'm still like the only team I busted on was first round, and I can't remember which school. But everything
Mhm.
that I have so far on one side of it has not been busted. Like I've been like, okay, the women's is
Miss
on
Ball and
fire.
D said Portland. Are they? I mean, I know some of them are in. That's not where is that where the Final Four is for the women? Is in Portland? I thought it was somewhere
No,
up
where's
in
the
like the
championship
Midwest.
game though?
Yeah, because I think the Final Four and the championship is in the same city, but I don't
Is
think
it?
I didn't know it was Portland. Yeah, and well, no, because they
Portland?
have two Portland.
I thought one division plays in Portland, the other
No,
because
they've
usually
got two playing in Portland, 4 and
Portland and the
3,
bottom,
and
and then
then
with the
2
two
in
on the top.
Albany.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So they got
Cleveland,
two
that's
playing
it. Yeah,
places.
Cleveland is where the Final
Okay.
Four is. Yeah, the men's is
Yeah, I
in
don't have my
Cleveland.
bracket sheet with me, but it's listed where they're playing, what cities are those.
Yeah. So, if you don't know already, you guys, because everybody's bracket was so screwed, they are giving everybody opportunities to complete the Sweet 16 brackets to get.
Oh, I created one. I already did it. I created it.
I haven't
And I
done it
didn't bring
yet.
it with me.
I've been
Yeah,
busy.
I was ready.
I've been
I was like,
busy.
you got to give us a chance. I said, even if they didn't give us a chance, I was going to make my own Sweet 16 bracket. I was just going to
You
cut
got
off
to.
that side and just
You've got
print it
to.
out and redo it. Shoot.
We got to speak about the newly formed Dodger, of course, that's gotten to himself or into the media some. Shohei Ohtani, there's been the hoopla in regard that they calling it the Ohtani Gate in regards to apparently his interpreter basically stealing $4.5 million out of Ohtani's bank account. So here's the deal. The first story was the Ohtani paid off his
gambling debt.
debts. And so he knew about it. But then the story changed and it was he didn't know anything about it, that the money, mind you, $4.5 million at least, was somehow removed out of his bank accounts without him knowing.
Yeah.
unless his interpreter, I don't see how the interpreter's moving $4.5 million out of his account unless he has like some kind of like, if his name is on the account with him, is he share an account? Does he have like power? What is it, power of attorney or something you got to have to use someone's account information? Does he have a driver's license with Shohei Ohtani's picture, with his information on it and his picture? Like, I don't.
Yeah, I was suspicious too, but I pretty much.
I don't want it to be. I mean, here's the deal, and then who's his financial people? Nobody saw this. Nobody goes over his books and thinks.
I really didn't want to even think about this, being that this season of baseball is coming and how we were so excited, or I was excited as a Dodger person to have Showtime on our team. And it seems like
I'm still excited to see him. Yeah,
we have a scandal of some sort. And my biggest fear was, are they going to suspend this guy if he willingly knew that this guy was embezzling money from him? Then there was a press conference with no cameras allowed and a written statement and different things of the statement. So I don't want to question none of this, because I want our Dodgers to make it to the promised land and have a World Series. Like, we have no excuses with Ohtani on our team, but it's going to be crazy if they were looking into the investigation.
Going to have a little asterisk by it.
Like, I don't even want to do it. I don't want to be bothered. I was like, I can't talk about this right now. It was devastating. Like, I literally did not want this to be, here we go. All great. Another start to a Dodger season, with all the other scandals we've had in the past. Urias, Walker, like, we've had everything. And now this.
It's part of that.
Did the Angels organization know? Did they know? Like, I had so many questions on this.
There's a lot of questions. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I just needed to know, like, why when he came to Dodgerland and got that huge contract, did all this come out? Number one, why did it even come out when they went to the Korean Spring Games? Like, it broke over there. Someone was digging over there when he showed up.
Somebody's
digging.
That's
what started all of this too. So I just have so many questions about this. I don't want to say he's involved, but I low key in the back of my mind, like, he knew something.
Maybe he needs to reach out to Ichiro Suzuki and get his interpreter.
On top of everything, so who knows? It was
right. That was like his right-hand friend. Like, that was the guy that knew everything and did everything for him, because unfortunately,
could have been a joint account that they shared together, and he had him wired. Like, the wire transfers go to that account for certain things. It was telling him it was going to be something else. I don't know, but it's just crazy.
Like, what do you? I guess when you have like hundreds of millions of dollars, like 4 doesn't seem so crazy. For us, 4 seems crazy, but yeah, it's wild.
It is wild. And then he had this impromptu up and you're married now. Like, just so much stuff was going in line with this.
Well, I mean, Japanese culture is not necessarily big for tabloids or, being out there in, the public eye and being all, social media'd out. So that wasn't so much surprising that we didn't know about maybe the wife or his, fiance or getting married. But this is a little, I mean, because I feel like, coming from an Asian family as well, is like, you kind of watch over your money. You're able to calculate. You're going to notice when a chunk of money has gone out your account.
I'm going to notice gambling World Soccer, which is big time gambling. A lot of people bet on World Soccer.
For sure.
It can make or break you. I'm not dismissing it, but it's just that you don't know nothing. This was like your left arm. This was your ace. Like, this was your guy. Like
y'all ain't hanging out having a beer at the house, and he mentions, I just put like 300,000 down this game.
Mind you, his salary was either 250 to 300,000 with the Dodgers when they were going to sign him as his interpreter. So it still doesn't cover the bets he was making for a $4 billion debt. Like, something, I don't know.
Like, did he already tell the bookie, hey, I'm Ohtani's interpreter. He's going to cover me. Like, he's got my back. He's my,
or hey, he just came into his big contract. Now I can pay you back. Like,
that's wild.
It's wild. It is wild. And like I said, being a Dodger girl, I really did not want to have this happen now.
I hear you.
Like, really? Here we go.
I hear you. So it's still being under investigation by the Major League Baseball. There hasn't been any the interpreter hasn't turned himself in. There hasn't been any police, reports filed or anything. So we'll kind of see how this.
Yeah, I don't think Ohtani's going to be suspended. He's the biggest name in MLB. Like, everybody wants to see this.
They're not going to let that slide. Yeah,
they're not going to let it. But it's just something that just raises.
Will he get maybe some suspension or maybe some kind of I don't know. Maybe there's some like games that aren't being able to be played, or maybe there's just a
I think he
fine.
got redeemed when he had his press conference for
Well, yeah,
everything.
I
Now
know.
he's in the victim column. So
Yeah.
I don't think anything's that. But you have to ask. It's like, did you not really know? Like, I need to.
You gotta know. You
Yeah.
gotta know.
I mean, this man's been with him for years. I know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Um,
I
some
don't know.
questions.
Like,
Some
move
questions.
on.
There more questions.
Yeah.
We went from Otani Gate to Diddy Gate. This guy here, Brendan Paul, who's a former Syracuse basketball, he was a walk-on. He actually transferred out to another school for his junior and senior year. Was arrested in Miami Monday shortly after they raided Diddy's homes. He had drugs found on him and was arrested on drug charges in the lawsuit that accuses him as being Diddy's drug mule, distributing drugs as well as guns for Diddy.
Yeah. And if you saw his mugshot picture, he does not look like that person in that jersey right there.
Oh, of course not. He looks
He
like
looks horrible.
looks like he's been doing the drugs that he's
Exactly. And I
been.
don't understand how he could even get away or let alone pass as a mule for someone looking like that.
Well, I
And I'm
mean,
not saying he's a mule where he's stashing stuff in orifices. I'm saying he's a mule where he's probably just carrying within duffel bags and stuff like that.
here's the deal. I feel like maybe some of that, how he looks now, is maybe because of the stress that he knows he's coming down. I feel like everybody has had a sense that this was all coming down, and maybe for him, he's known that people were snooping, people knew some things, and he was stressed out. Maybe he's using more.
Stress. He looked like meth stress. He don't look
Well,
like
that's what I'm saying. He's got scabs and he's itching and he's stressed out.
Nah, I just don't understand. So much to unpack with this whole
It's
thing.
so much. It's a lot to unpack. And then today, they read into court documents, and you've got Young Miami and traveling around with narcotics and being paid as a sex worker, along with some other females on like a monthly stipend. It's just this Diddy thing.
I'm just waiting for Jaguar Wright to say something. I just need to see her conversation right now. We know how 50 feels. I just ready for Jaguar Wright to just kind of start talking.
There's a lot of people that got some stuff to say too.
I mean, it's just
what was
always
the
that
one
flavor
girl
stuff.
from Danity Kane too? She had stuff she was saying like it's
Mace
about
had
time.
stuff to say. Like they all do. I never would trust that guy after the whole Shine incident when Shine had served all that time for this man on those charges. So I'll leave it with that. That was always my speculative thing about who he was.
They keep saying that.
And that was the same time that J-Lo had left him. So she probably knows a little something.
And J-Lo, I think J-Lo was reported for us saying a few things that she knew something was up, and he just never came.
Her team got her up out of there with that when he was going to trial and that shooting and all that.
So we're gonna stay tuned as the Diddy Gate unfolds as well. Again, because Cat Williams brought it up in his interview with Club Shay Shay, and just like the lies out there are coming. 2024 is coming for you, so people watch out. There's just, like you said, you're gonna have to get your little April list ready of what
I'm gonna have to have some predictions. I definitely am gonna make some predictions.
We're gonna get you a little psychic. We're gonna get you a little psychic hat and have you do a little psychic prediction.
I don't even want to predict anything. I better not even touch this. I need to just leave it alone, mind my business. And that's what I'm gonna do. I really am. Okay. I'm actually just gonna mind my business to this whole thing. And be surprised as they have. Just let it play out as it lays out. I don't even want to touch this. It's so crazy.
And as if, sporting bets isn't going crazy enough already, you've also got the Raptors, Jontay Porter. He was removed from the lineup on Monday and the subject of a gambling investigation. Not to say that he was gambling, but that prop bets, which usually go over for like $1,000, $2,000 max on him for like having over under 5 points, over under 3 assists.
Right.
People were attempting to bet $10,000 to $20,000 on his prop bets, mind you. And the 2 games in question that people were making money off of, he was out for one. He left early. He got off the game early because of an eye issue. And the second one, he said that he was sick. He was ill.
To cover the prop bets.
Covering prop
bets. And he was gonna get a piece of that 20 grand. That's all you were getting.
Well, I mean, that 20 grand may have well turned into 150. You never know with that prop bet. I mean,
he's got really, guy. Like, what are we doing? Who are we funding this for? He had to be funding it for friends.
Well, that's why we're saying they're not saying he's guilty. It just seemed weird because the gambling sites get flagged when there's like suspicious activities, right? Or people are making bank off it. And he was like, his parlay was the one that everybody that bet on it was like scoring big money. It wasn't just some little $5 bets here. It was like Thousands
No, it was
of dollars.
it wasn't random. Like it just was a coincidence that you had multiple people betting on this particular night on this particular game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just wild.
yeah.
Wild
Especially
stuff.
for him as a player, like you're betting on him. Like why? Like
Yeah.
that
And
should raise suspicion alone.
that should raise suspicion alone. Hey, we're gonna get into some Las Vegas sports news because there is a lot, and I want to just make sure we get through it.
Yeah.
The UNLV Running Rebels lost today in the quarterfinals. The INT,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Seton
Mm.
Hall kicked their butts. Like they were
Dang.
out. They were out that door smoking from the beginning. UNLV really didn't stand a chance, unfortunately.
Dang.
Yeah, it's just, what can you do? Like,
Right.
but that's them. They've had to take two west to east coast trips back and forth. They had to go play. They beat out Boston, or I'm sorry, they beat out Princeton, came back home, played Boston College, went back across and played Seton Hall. So,
Yeah.
but respect to them because that's they made it happen. They got into the quarterfinals. So,
Yeah.
what can you do? What can you
What
do?
can you do?
The
Nothing
Lady
can.
Rebels lost in the first round to
I know.
Creighton. I know. It was just
Creighton.
so sad. I
But
just
I'm still
wanted them to
proud of
win
these
so bad.
ladies. And they're actually
Very
having a
proud.
ceremony for them. Was it today or tomorrow that they're doing?
It
the big
is. Well, I have it here somewhere. Where did it go? Why have I lost it? It's on. Let me just look it up because actually Sarah sent it to me. So thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. I actually saw it on,
The
social
season
media.
celebration is
Yeah.
on Tuesday, April 2nd. So that's
Perfect.
next Tuesday. It's at 6 p.m. Dinner and program start at 6:30. Business attire requested. Admission is $65 per person.
Nice.
Yes. So
Yeah, celebrate those
go
ladies.
celebrate
They're
those
Mountain
ladies.
West. They're still Mountain West champs. I'm not knocking it.
3-time Mountain West
Three-time.
champs. Let's start
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So congratulations to them.
Yeah.
The Golden Knights, they had a bummer of an overtime loss last night after being up 4-1. They
Oh
lost to the
my God,
Predators
they were up by
5-4.
4 goals to their 1. What was it?
Here's my thing. So we know Aiden
Hill.
Hill got injured. Logan Thompson came in and played really well for their Monday overtime win versus the Blues. He even became what is the second goaltender to record multiple 20-win seasons for the Golden Knights, joining Marc-Andre Fleury. And then they had signed up, they brought up a goalie from AHL, and they started him last night.
Well, that didn't go
which
too
is
well.
Jiri Patera. So
well, he didn't do too good. He let 5 goals get in.
He let 5 goals get in.
He let 5 goals get in, and that's how the Blues was like, okay, we're on a roll. We're actually winning our road games, and
we had gone 6 for 8. We had won 6 the last 8 games. We were on our way back, and now it's like, oh, well. I mean, we're still in a good spot. We're still in the climbing stage of trying to get back into these playoffs and the run for the playoffs. We got to just get it together. Like, really, it's just. It's going to be tough.
It's tough. It's hard to do back-to-backs. I explain that to everyone. It's very hard to do back-to-backs.
Extremely.
The changes and people get hurt, and it's just,
But
it'd be nice if we could get a playoff, at least into the playoffs. I'll be happy with that. It's like you win a Stanley Cup one year and you don't go to the playoffs the following season.
It's like it's like the Rams. They went to the Super Bowl and couldn't even make the playoffs.
Like, like that's what we're dealing with right now. But when I tell you tickets, people don't like
with so much talent though, with so much talent on this team.
Yeah, just not clicking. It's not working. Something's not working. Something's amiss.
Moving on to our Las Vegas Aces. So they had their look at these cuties. They had their inaugural Aces Academy clinic over the weekend. Look at all the girls and boys that came out to play. A couple of the players were, of course, and staff just having a great time. Yeah, I know.
So cute. Love it.
Adorable. Also got to give congratulations to Kirsten Bell. Listen, KB was running it out there for Athletes Unlimited. She came 3rd place. She had over 5,600 points. I mean, this girl was getting averaging 18 points, 20 points a game.
Yeah.
Listen, she gonna come in here this season and gonna cause
She's,
a little
I see
storm.
her potential. I have naysayers that don't really
Absolutely.
care for her, and I feel like she is
I
clutch.
love it. I love
Me
seeing her
too.
play. She's a dog out
She's
there on
gonna
the
prove
court
everyone wrong this season. Let's go.
for sure. And then yesterday, I don't know, as hot as tickets are for the Aces, we sold out for the season tickets. Single tickets for the game versus Chicago Sky on September 3rd at T-Mobile Arena. Those were released yesterday. I don't even know if there's tickets left. I didn't check, but supposedly they released tickets yesterday. So if you
I
wanted
looked at the
a single
seats.
ticket, you
Single
did?
tickets $150 in the lower bowl.
What? Look
Yeah,
at them make some money. Okay.
yeah. So there's seats, especially up
Okay.
on the second level. You could definitely get seats. Those tickets are like on the second level, 74, which isn't bad.
Okay.
$60 to $70. That's
But that's
feasible.
almost like
But
a Golden
lower,
Knights ticket, really.
100, yeah, basically
Yeah.
150 is what I looked at when I
Hey,
saw it.
listen
And
what
most
happens
of
when you
them
get
were sold out at the bottom. Like I'm just looking for one little aisle seat, and it's
right.
the blue dots on the Axis app are really like turning into
Ooh,
gray quickly.
the
I'm like,
team
oh
is on fire.
yeah.
Fire. Shout out to Kelsey Plum, who is doing her dog her dog class again. She went over to South Carolina and recruited Malaysia Full Wiley as well as Raven Johnson. These two are
Nice.
amazing women, two young ladies. So they're going to be part of the dog class this year. I'm sure we'll see more from who else she gets into her group for this year. Kelsey also got a tennis commercial coming up. I'm not sure who, but she was posting her little tennis outfit and had a couple of videos. So make sure you get on
Okay.
her Instagram and check out
I
Kelsey.
saw that today.
She's got commercials left and right. She's got the
Yeah.
commercial for the legal, whatever the lawyer one, the legal Zoom, I think it is, or something. She's got a lot of stuff going on. So big ups to her. Big three, the draft and the combine are coming back to Las Vegas, May 24th. May 24th.
Is Caitlin
And then
Clark going to join the big three for the $5 million?
the 5 milli.
For the
Will
5
she
million.
do it? So there's the thing is that obviously the WNBA and Big Three overlap as far as season wise goes.
Right.
I will say though, if I don't even know if the WNBA will allow it in their if in their bargaining they can do something like that, allow her to play it too. I don't
Yeah,
feel
because
like
it's
that's
too late for her
even.
to rescind her offer of entering the draft. Had she known prior to, she probably couldn't have, she probably said, I won't enter the draft this season due to.
I mean, I feel like she could always say I'm not going to enter the draft, but then
She already announced she's
know.
entering, though. How do you go backpedal on that? I don't know.
I feel like people have entered the NFL draft and take it back. Can't you or no? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. But or will she be the first person that's allowed to be able to do two things at once? I don't see how it's possible because what happens if you get injured in Big Three and then you now can't perform for the WNBA?
Well, I thought about that too because, first of all, I give them props for even wanting to have this, but let's face it, this is a face that you want to make your money and your revenue up, and this would be
Oh yeah,
the
and to
absolute
put
way
your
to do
brand
so.
out even farther than
Right,
where
yeah,
it's at.
stratosphere.
You're going to be entering homes that wouldn't have been watching
But
it
I
to
feel
begin.
like 5 million is small. I feel like
I
with
don't think he
Caitlin-
got more than that to be given because they didn't do well last season.
Well, I'm just
I
saying.
mean, he
the
personally
offer-
may have the money, but I don't think Big Three
I'm
got
not
the
even caring
money.
about him even having it or not. I feel like it's small for her just because she's bigger than $5 million. What is her dollar amount? I don't think her dollar is
her
5 million.
NILs are already like 3 mil, so
I think her dollar is double-digit mil. I feel like what the heights this woman can go, regardless of where she goes, she's now like worldwide. So I think worldwide is not $5 million. That's the thing that I look at. I'm like, her value. What is her value? What would her value be? Because to me, I don't know if the 5 million is very generous. It's very nice, but I feel like her value is going to catapult, especially when she joins the WNBA. Forget whatever she gets. The money is going to be even more than the offer of the 5 mil, in my opinion. This is a woman we've never seen as an athlete.
This is also like catching Jordan when he's still in North Carolina and ready to enter the draft. Like, Nike caught him when he's ready to get into the league and gave him
Absolutely, but that's the same thing with branding and everything else that's going to go with this woman. It's got her value. It's a nice offer. Like, I'm not an agent. I don't know, but if I was an agent, I'd be like, It's cute, it's nice, but I'm seeing where this is going.
Now,
The woman has passed
If
Pistol
Cube
Pete
want to
Maravich's
change
record
the
of
big
cheating.
three to be more in like the spring, and she could be doing this prior to the WNBA season, now that would be entertaining because you don't have much of anything else. There's no football,
Oh
baseball's
yeah,
in spring
absolutely.
training.
That would be great. But again, her
Bump big
value,
three
I
up a
just feel
couple
like is going
months.
to catapult even more than that money. And then my other question is, if she is just one of the faces, why didn't he go after all these other big faces that we've had that go into the league to do big three?
Or
All
maybe
those other
it's
women went
yeah.
overseas, and even athletes have asked him that, like, "Hey, you just got a Caitlin Clark. We've had some juggernauts, and you never approached them and offered them a huge bag like this to get your brand up." So I
Well,
just wonder.
were they gonna get a huge bag though?
I don't know. Think about it. Like, what
I
if
mean,
he were to
I
go
mean, if you were
after?
gonna make like a full roster in a women's league or a co-ed league, like I get it, inviting more people and paying more people to be out on it. But I think when you're looking at, let's just
You're looking
say
at a
even
current player, not past players. Most of the big three are past players. But what if they
right,
were current players? What if you did go after a Kelsey Plum? What if you did approach an Asia? What would that have looked like? But when Caitlin
right,
Clark comes now, like rules have changed, you've got a current, physically young, active player joining a league of veterans. So I'm just wondering
yeah.
how that didn't happen with the others. Just curious. And that's why I say her value is more than
Yeah.
5 million. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Well, I
The
think
woman is doing things and
NIL changed
shattering.
the whole thing too. Like,
She's
having NIL deals has changed the whole
yeah,
spectrum
absolutely.
of sports and sponsorships and deals and
Yeah.
everything else. What's up, Dre Bailey in the house? What's up, all
Hey,
down?
Dre.
Hey, what's good?
My boy.
So yeah, we'll see what transpires from that. And if you're like me and you haven't gone to a Vegas Thrill game, that's our professional volleyball league here. I just want to personally invite you because I feel like this will be the game that I do attend because I haven't been to one. The 80s night,
Oh,
80s
that's cute.
music, costume contest. It's industry night. The Thrill will be back Monday the 8th. So it's like a week and a half away at Dollar Loan Center.
I like that.
I like that. Listen, I got 80s stuff ready to go. So
Yeah, that's super cute. I like
that's
that.
not
And the
going to be a
Thrill have been
problem.
balling, actually. I think they only had a couple losses since they've started this.
Listen, I enjoy just watching the little clips they have on Instagram and
Yeah.
social media. Like those girls are really something. And they have the volleyball community here in Vegas is huge. So they have
Oh,
a
it's
great,
huge. It's
there's
always
more
been.
people there than at the Ignite
Yeah,
games.
absolutely. It's been a big thing.
and
Yeah.
and the Ignite are no longer after this season. Like I think they had their last home game earlier
Yeah.
this week.
Well, yeah.
So
No more Ignite. So that
they
gives you
said
reason to
because
go
of
all in for the Thrill for sure. Shout
yeah.
out to our lights too. I mean, they lost their first
Yes.
season home opener, but the second game they did win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the optics of crowds showing up there.
I'm sorry, the
Did
whole
you see
field
the
is different. They
Did
got
you
a
see
whole
the scene with the bar stools and the whole
yes.
what
And
the
I was looking at it on the camera and I was like, wait, that's not
I
the
had to watch it a
sideline, is
couple
it?
times to make out what that was. They are
I
leveling
don't
up
know what
in
Jose
a
has
way that
done or what money he's put in, but
yes, I need
listen,
to see
I need
this.
to
Yeah.
be at Cashman to see this. It
I
looks
gotta go to a lights game.
fancy. Those uniforms look professional.
Yeah, I
It
gotta
looked
go to a
like they
lights
were
game.
playing in like somewhere nice, like a
Yeah,
actual soccer stadium. That's what it looked
yeah.
like. It was good.
I gotta go to a lights game for sure.
Absolutely.
Not to
And then we
mention
got to
their
round it
promo
out.
videos
Oh,
are out of this world. Everything is
everything they got neon lights and things and
yeah, they're doing
everything.
it
Yeah.
all. Like this is crazy.
Because it is opening MLB opening weekend is Thursday.
Yeah.
Our Aviators, their home opener is this Friday over at the ballpark. Saturday, windbreaker giveaway. That one just has my name on it, but I got plans Saturday, whenever it's a day game. And then of course we got kids around the bases. So just make sure you stay tuned to the
Yeah,
Aviators.
Windbreaker, man.
Listen, that windbreaker look nice.
It
Okay.
does look pretty cool. I need that. I don't have a
Yeah.
windbreaker. I don't even have like a Nike little track
No,
windbreaker like
I
back
have
in
a
the day. I don't even
couple.
have one.
I
No
got a
members only,
Seahawks
no
one.
nothing.
Oh, I actually have a members only one too. I think that might be in my
Have
80s bag
any
stash. I'm
windbreakers?
not
I
sure.
had some. I did. I don't know what I did with them.
A lot. There's been a lot, not a ton going on in the NBA, but a lot going on in the NBA at the same time. Like just today, Draymond Green gets ejected after 4 minutes in the game.
You
Mind
gotta
you, it
learn from
wasn't
that.
even a play that he got called a foul on. He was buffing and toughing and throwing up fits for somebody else's call.
They're out of line for that. They should never have ejected him. I know what they're doing. It is Florida. I won't. And Draymond and the Warriors are a very outspoken team on a lot of social issues. And sometimes these refs take stuff personally when it comes to them. I'm so glad they were able to pull off a win. I was saddened to see Steph Curry crying out of frustration and anger of all of that.
Yeah.
They were out of line to eject this man out of this game. Draymond was questioning him with such passion that they got in their feelings, and
Well, I
they're
mean,
wrong. And
Draymond's
sometimes it's like
passion.
Draymond, you just gotta kind of hold it in if you can. But I know what that was all about. That they just don't rock with Warriors. They're too outspoken. They're too socially conscious. Steve Kerr has always been, and you're in Florida.
Yeah.
And like I said, you got people with personal beefs, and they will take it out on you.
It's a lot going on.
But I didn't go political like that. But I honestly think that's what it was.
And, you know, we also saw how we've talked about this before numerous times, how a 20-point lead don't mean nothing nowadays. I mean, Monday, the Celtics lose a 30-point lead to the Hawks. Last night, your Lakers double OT winning over Milwaukee and having been down 15 points. Like, numbers ain't nothing these days. Like, you could come back from 20 points like it's nothing. I remember
numbers aren't, because it's all a 3-point game. These guys are shooting threes, so they're quadrupling their points. We had 3 triple doubles in that game against Milwaukee from 3 Laker players.
Crazy.
3
Crazy.
3 triple doubles.
Austin Reeves being one of them too.
Like, come on. But shout out to Golden State winning tonight. But I watched that clip and I'm like, they're out of line for doing that to Draymond. But that guy was not trying to hear it, and he just was like, tech, and then he double teched him and just said ejection. Like, that's crazy.
Well, there was some time between the first and the second, but Draymond didn't stop either. I mean, you know Draymond. He did not even when the rest of his team was around him trying to like be like, yo, they're trying to like divert his moving to like away.
Yeah, like he just can't. He can't. He's very outspoken. He's very passionate. You've seen him on his podcast.
Yeah,
he's probably I wonder if he's gonna talk about it, but I know that's probably what it was, that Florida thing.
I'm sure it was.
Seriously, like they on some, oh my God, they on some stuff. But anyway, I'm glad they won. I'm glad my Lakers won tonight too.
Yeah, good.
Against Memphis. We moving on up. But what's up with your boy Caruso? That was a little fight.
That fight was wild. I don't even have a clip of it, but when I tell you he got thrown across the half court line, it looked like he had one of those like what's those little wind things the guys wear in football when they're running? They got the little kite behind them, and or someone just pulls them back. It looked like someone just pulled him straight back after he got that hit, he got that little hit, and then he went off and decided to take matters into his own hands.
Yeah. Caruso ain't gonna let you punk him, honey.
I appreciate seeing some of the physicalness these days because
it's getting very physical. You know, there were 3 fights in a row from 3 different teams. One night it's like brawl after brawl after brawl on each game. It was like March Madness. I was like, the NBA teams are going mad, and then the
March Madness, because those refs were letting things go. I was like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh. It's kind of nice to see those like 80s, 90s basketball elbows and camouflage net grabs and chokeholds happening out there. It's just
Dylan Brooks got choked up on that jersey. That jersey pull is everything.
Man.
Hey, he deserved it though. Even though he was wrong. You know, honestly, that could have been a very, very serious injury for, I forgot it went down on the court after the push.
I forgot it was true, yeah.
I don't know if it was Jalen Johnson or one of those guys, but it could have been real serious because he never got up during that whole kerfuffle. So I don't know. That was like March Madness going crazy. Everybody's mad their brackets busted. They taking it out on people.
They taking it out on everybody. Yeah,
everybody's.
Hey, we got to move over a little bit into the NFL. You know, the owners and coaches meetings have been happening in Orlando. Of course, we've seen the infamous owner or coaches picture that everybody's been clowning that they do every single year, which is hilarious.
Yeah. 4 commanders, right? Kind of clustered up in a row.
Yeah.
4 commanders. All now coaches.
All the baldies together.
Yeah.
You had,
and then people are asking, "Oh, Mike Tomlin wasn't there," and other coaches that didn't show up. What's going on? You know, but hey,
there was a lot of questions. Hey, but one of the big ones that's happened is they decided to do away with the hip drop tackles. So there were players that were very against that, as this has been trying to happen. They tried to do it last year, didn't pass. So, this is the tackle they're talking about. JJ Watt said you might as well just fast forward and put belts and flags on him. TJ Ward was not impressed with it either. But Kenyon Drake, who actually got hurt off of this type of tackle, was like, hey, this is what we need. Let's save the ankles and legs and hopefully cut down on the injuries. So two
Yeah, I
sides of the
wasn't too
story.
opposed with this one as much as the other one.
Yeah. What was that?
I said I wasn't too much opposed with this rule than I was the next one you're about to talk about.
Oh, the new kickoff rules.
The kickoff
Yeah.
rule is stupid. It's stupid. I'm sorry.
We're
It's
gonna
like-
oh, hang on. I think I did that wrong. Let me see. I wanted to try and get us on because I got, for those that don't know, I found a great video that pretty much explains it, but I want us to give our reactions as they're watching it. So let me. I was trying to get us on there at the same time. It wasn't working. Basically, there's no more fair catch.
No, there
And-
isn't, and that's why I'm saying this is so stupid to me. I don't, whatever.
It's like going back to like what it's like kind of what XFL did. So you not only do you have your kicker kicking off usually the 35-yard line. So most of the defenders are now moving farther up. Nobody can really move until the ball
They can't.
hits.
They got to stay in their zones.
So they're gonna be frozen until the ball
Yeah,
hits
frozen until the
a
ball literally
person or
bounces
hits
and
the
then
ground.
Come on.
And let's say you're a terrible
on.
kicker or a terrible puncher, and your ball goes automatically out of bounds.
Oh,
that
the
team
ball's
that's
going to
not
go
on the-
out of bounds many times in this season.
And that
We're
ball
gonna-
is going to be on the 40-yard line.
Yeah,
That's like you're already there. I mean,
it's dumb. It's the dumbest thing. I have to see it in real time, but I just think it's so stupid. I was so stupid.
yeah. They're also going to be playing 2 days on Christmas, which happens to be a Wednesday, which is
Oh,
weird to have
okay.
football on a Wednesday. So we'll have 2 games on a Wednesday for Christmas. Bears and Texans are going to be in the Hall of Fame game, opening up the season in Canton on August 1st. And the Eagles will be playing in Brazil week 1, which will be exclusively on Peacock. So for all those people that are BSing about Peacock, you might want to get on the train or not, because
Man, Peacock's living right now. I'm loving Peacock. Catch up on all my
listen, tell
housewives.
me about it. And then guess what? The in season of Hard Knocks next season will be an entire division for the first time. So it won't be
Which
just one
one?
team. They haven't picked it. They haven't told us. Well, they haven't told us yet. So this is not the Hard Knocks that preseason.
Regular
This is
Hard
the
Knocks.
hard
Yeah, this is the
Hard
in
Knocks
season
in
one that we do in
season.
the in season like we do.
They're gonna
in
be
Miami
it's
Dolphins.
gonna be over a whole division. My guess it was
Wow.
probably gonna be like, something depending on how the Steelers go or how the NFC East goes.
I was
Maybe.
gonna say it's gonna be the NFC East. Watch.
Yeah.
But they just did the Cowboy. I don't want to focus on them. I really don't. But whatever.
But it could be the AFC East because wait, isn't
Yeah.
that it could be Jets because Rodgers back? Yeah, I don't know. It'll be
I think it probably
interesting.
will be the focus on the Steelers, though. You might be
Yeah.
onto something there.
It depends on how the start of the season goes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how
And
that
who's
goes.
willing to? Because Tomlin may not want to be. He's not that guy to be really camera guy like that. Like, so I don't know.
But so neither was what's his face, and he still had to do it. Or like, Rogers having to be on there. Not that it was a coaching thing, but I don't
Right.
know.
I don't know.
We also have opening day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Two of the games have already been rain delayed, which I don't know how that happens a whole day in advance, but
Are they down in Florida? Because I know Tampa's having some trouble
Oh,
right
is it?
now with the
Oh,
weather.
see,
Yeah, it's
I didn't even
bad.
actually bother to look at where they were.
Yeah.
I just saw the first two. Really? Is it that bad right now?
Yeah, it's really bad. Flights are like
That's
delayed.
Really?
Yeah. Like 4
No,
hours.
it's the Mets and the Phillies.
Oh wow, okay. So
Braves
Midwest.
and Phillies, Brewers and Mets. It
And
says the
East.
rain
Wow.
makeup
Yeah.
on March 29th. I don't know. So far, your Dodgers, I know it's hard to read, but the Dodgers are
Yeah, favored for the
favored
World Series,
for
but
the
we got to
World
see how this
Series.
Ohtani thing pans out, and if he can get his mental space and head back into the game, and it doesn't distract him, and hopefully the fans can just kind of like make sure that we just make it about Showtime too.
Right.
And Yamamoto, both of them. So yeah, I figured that we were gonna be high odds
You said
once he got
this,
in.
and I immediately my stomach was like,
Yeah, I was like, I'm not a big chocolate person, but I want to try this.
Listen, I love s'mores. The
too.
campfire s'more action looks great. Look at how the chocolate hardens on the outside of that.
Yes,
That
that's what I'm
thing is
saying.
huge.
But you're in Chicago with that too, with that weather. Like, can we do that?
I mean, have to. I mean, I'm sure in the summertime for Chicago will be great.
The short summer that they have, that's the only way I could get it.
I don't know. May have to check it out.
I want to try it.
I went on the Dodgers social media and they haven't really done a whole lot for the whole start of the season opening day. But let me just tell you, the Mariners social media team has been on one. Here's just a quick little video of one of their opening day skits.
We've been distracted.
No fly zone, huh?
Well, you know,
Were they on the
Julio's
odds list too for making it to the Super Bowl? I mean,
What was that?
to the World Series? Were they on the odds sheet too?
Probably pretty far down low, but let me double check. I can't even, let me see if I can
Because your
read.
Mariners weren't too bad last
I
season.
mean, they weren't terrible. We still got to be able to make it into the playoffs and past an actual just a
Yeah.
wild card weekend.
Yeah.
No, I don't even.
We've been
see
distracted
it.
with our opening season, but I will say our opening season was great today. Because
Oh, I'm
of the
sorry,
great game.
Mariners. We are 1,
Where are
2,
you?
3, 4, 5, 6. We're the middle column in the second. So we're like,
Okay, so you're up there.
we're
Yeah.
we're in
okay,
the top half. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know. We had an opening day celebration. If you happen to be in the California area, Mookie Betts was at a Cane's working. Had a huge turnout today. So that's our pre-opening day.
Let me okay. Yeah, you guys have obviously been busy with
We've been busy and we've been distracted with some other stuff.
Or busy trying not to
Mookie
post
save the
anything because
day.
nobody wants those comments.
Mookie to save the day. And 3 of our Dodger players they listed today, including Mookie Betts, whole contract net worth's over $1.4 billion. So
and you re-signed your catcher. That
Freddie
catcher
Freeman
done,
and I think Bueller that we got that are average that are totaling $1.4 billion. Just those 3 players on their contracts, and then we did restructure.
Yeah,
we got somebody back.
Catcher, 140 million for
Will
10
Smith.
years.
We got Will Smith back. Yeah.
Wild.
Money.
Wild.
Man, talk about it, right?
Yeah. A couple of WNBA news though, real quick, because the ladies will be going back to Canada to start the season. They will have a Storm versus Sparks. I think it's a preseason game. Maybe it's season May 5th. So they'll be up in Canada to play again, which will be cool. Just a shout out to Dawn Staley. And of course, her dog is there with her. Because it was National Puppy Day a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So she had her dog there with her and said that her dog wasn't going to provide any feedback unless he has a nameplate for the press conferences.
I love it.
We have been going over time. I just want to get really quickly to some girl power before we go. I got to give it up for both these ladies. So Iowa State's Audie Crooks, who's a freshman, had 40 points on 90% field goal shooting over Maryland on Friday. Now, Iowa State couldn't get past that second round, but when you say Audie Crooks, like, listen, Stanford, I think Stanford beat them. It was kind of, and I think Natalie had sent me the thing. She was like, I feel like the coach Vanderveer just whispered in her ear, like, I'll see you in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
dope for her. Also, Utah's Alyssa Peely, from Anchorage,
Yeah.
Alaska, Samoan, Alaska Native, an Alaska Native, both her parents. So she's really putting it out there for the indigenous culture on the map.
Absolutely.
She had an enormous supporting section because those Samoans don't travel don't travel to measly. They have tens and 20s of people
Oh
showing
yeah,
up
they roll
for
deep.
her.
Yeah, that's
Real deep.
great.
And the big thing here too is look at what we're seeing as far as body image. You're able
Right.
to see and show that these young girls, you don't got to be tall and skinny. You can actually be athletic and thick and still be moving
Yeah.
around and doing what these two women have done. So huge props to these two young ladies. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see more of them as their future unfolds in basketball. And then also want to give it up to Sophia Smith. She plays for the Portland Thorns in the National Women's Soccer League. She is now the highest paid player in the NWSL
I
or
love
the
it.
NWSL. She re-signed, so she'll be there through 2025 and has a player option. They didn't disclose the actual amount, but the current highest per year salaries are 2 and 2.5 million. So her salary per year is definitely going to be over that $2.5 million. So
That's crazy.
big shout out to her.
But well deserved.
Well deserved. And once again, shout out to our guests. If you didn't catch our guests, you caught up towards the end of the show. Get the replay, subscribe
Kathy
to our
was on.
YouTube, watch it again. Kathy is dope. We appreciate Kathy. Listen, Kathy
Yeah,
has a book
definitely.
out. Kathy got a book out. Make sure you check it out. It's on audiobook. What is it?
Amazon audiobooks. Yeah.
Amazon audiobooks. Yes. The
Mhm.
Munich Cowboys cheerleaders. True
Cheerleaders,
story based on her story. So that was
Yep.
amazing. And that's it. That's it for us. We're going to roll out this Women's History Month. We're going to keep on rolling into next month. And I guess we'll see y'all in April. How did we get to
'cause we
April
gotta get
already?
through. Yeah, and happy
Man.
Easter, everyone. We got Easter Sunday
Happy
this Sunday,
Easter.
so
Absolutely.
happy Easter, man. It's coming
And
fast.
team.
Weather's getting better. Hopefully,
Not
warms up
this
a little bit
weekend.
out here in Vegas. I'm
It's
ready.
supposed to rain again with wind this
I
weekend or
don't need
something.
that. My knees can't take that. Listen, my knees have been in such a good mood with this weather change and it getting warmer, and the rains are not going to help.
I hear
But
you. All right,
we'll make it
y'all. Well, we
through.
appreciate you. We're going to catch you next week. So stay tuned.
Yes. Thanks
See
for coming in
ya.
and joining the chat, everyone.
Bye.
We're out.